When we purchase homes subject to, we get the deed to the property, but the mortgage stays in the seller's name. With this in mind, we want to cover some of the deals to avoid. If a seller doesn't have any equity and doesn't have any money to pay you to buy his home, we won't get involved. Remember, as Charlie France says, no deal is better than a bad deal. If the seller is behind in their payments, we avoid these deals because obviously he doesn't have any money to pay us. In addition to that, he's probably long since given up on the maintenance of the home. So where we expect to buy pretty homes in nice subdivisions, these homes typically are a little bit run down. If the seller has a large second mortgage, we have to be careful because the seller may agree to continue to make payments on the second mortgage while we agree to make the payments on the first. But if the deal doesn't support the seller's default, meaning that you have to make payments on both mortgages, we won't take those deals. It's not uncommon for a seller to want to let you lease him the home. Now think about this. If he was unwilling to pay the bank with all of their legal powers, why in the world would he agree to pay you? So this is typically an expedient for a seller. I'll give you my deed. Just let me stay here and you make the house payments and I'll pay you faithfully. We'll recognize that this is not a good situation. And in some states, these decisions have been reversed, whereby the seller says, oh, I didn't know that I was leasing the home from him. I thought I still owned the home, and indeed he was letting me stay there while he helped me out. So in some states you can get yourself into a legal difficulty by leasing the home back to a seller that's fallen behind in their payments. If a seller is considering bankruptcy, you have to be cautious because bankruptcy trustees have the ability to unwind transactions in a look-back period that can range from 6 months to a year, depending on the particular legal jurisdiction. So you want to be careful because the seller may indeed file for bankruptcy. The bankruptcy trustee says, wait, you sold your home? I'll bet you there was some money in that. And they can reverse the sale of the property. The seller may have a high interest rate loan. Recognize that in our deals, when we lease the home out, we're agreeing to make payments on that first mortgage. Well, if the interest rate's too high, we may find that we can't get enough rent to even cover our underlying mortgage payment. And finally, if the seller has a high adjustable rate loan, you may find that where you have cash flow now, as soon as the rate adjusts up, you no longer have cash flow. Finally, you want to be careful in any situation where a seller is behind in their payments. In Indiana specifically, if you negotiate with a seller who's behind in their payments, you must identify yourself as a mortgage consultant. That carries a status in Indiana whereby not everyone can be a mortgage consultant. So we recommend that we deal with sellers that do have equity and are willing to pay you for the purchase of their home. My name is Bob Meister, and I'm with www.getthedeed.com.